morning, everyone, and thanks for your patience while we went on Facebook Live. I'm here with Pastor Jose Dominguez from the Luz de Valle Church and Betty Hart, Kaiser Fire District. And I'm hoping some of our other friends will be joining us here shortly on the program. It is the September edition of Coffee with Cathy. Happy fall, y'all. And we're happy to have you join us here today on Coffee with Cathy. I've got my coffee. We are good for a beautiful September Saturday morning. After we get done with the broadcast here, we're going to be outside and enjoying this lovely weekend before the rains return to peak Oregon green. Just a couple of things I'd like to share with you all about what's happening in the city of Kaiser is that we've got a few meetings coming up, just keeping the work going on taking care of business for all the people of the city of Kaiser. On Monday, we're going to have a work session. The city council will, with the recruitment company that will be assisting us with the recruitment for our next permanent city manager. Right now, we have an interim city manager, Wes Hare, who's doing a fantastic job for us. We're very thankful to have his 30+ years of experience keeping everything steady and moving forward as we go through the recruitment process. So watch for your opportunity to be involved with that. There will be community components as we move through the process for the recruitment. I'd also like to invite all of you tomorrow, Sunday, the 26th, at 2 p.m. There's going to be a memorial for Chuck Lee, former city councilor, former president of Blanchette School, Catholic School, and also very involved with the founding and operation for CTEC, the Career Technical Education Center. His lifelong experience and passion for education of highest quality for all of our students is a legacy that he has left for all of us and for the generations to come. So if you want to be part of that, 2 p.m. at Blanchette Catholic School. I do want to also celebrate a tremendous opportunity that we, the people of Kaiser, along with the other members of the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, have been able to win, and that was an award for a youth homeless demonstration grant from Housing and Urban Development, from HUD. This grant of upwards of $3.7 million is a huge testament to the way that we have collaborated. We have established a very action-based, evidence-based strategic plan in a number of areas surrounding housing and homelessness. And this is going to be an opportunity to continue to increase and improve and make more effective the programs we have specifically for our youth and young adults. This is a very special population among the folks who are homeless, and we want to make sure that the services that they receive are specific and effective. Trisha Frizzell with Community Action Agency, Kaiser Girl, woo, is leading the way with this fantastic program, but it's with partnerships throughout our entire region. So we're very, very excited to have that grant come to the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance as the collaborative applicant. And we're going to be getting those dollars out to continue to perform and increase our effective services for our youth and young adults. So that's something we're really celebrating, and we hope to celebrate even more as we see lives turn around and moving forward with our young adults. So we have a number of things coming up this fall, and our parks are open. They're in great shape going into the fall season. And before I turn it over to Pastor Dominguez to share what's happening with La Luz de Valle in our community, I want to remind everybody, this is a beautiful sunny day. This is the day to get outside and clean your gutters and your storm drains, because when the rain comes, that's really miserable to get out there and you get soaked and the water's coming up and going, dang, I should have cleaned those. So please go out, check your gutters, check your storm drains. The wonderful Oregon rivers are coming back. Woo! But they need somewhere to go. So clean those storm drains. Pastor Dominguez, it is always a fabulous time to see you. How are you doing? How's our community? And what words of encouragement do you have for us today? Unmute.
Excuse me. The word of encouragement this morning is persevere. keep working wherever you're at whatever level that you're working. You continue to do that good work that you're doing. You continue to get the word out, to continue to collaborate, work together. So excited just to be on this morning. This month is Hispanic Heritage Month. We're excited about that. I'm so excited about what happened this past Monday at our city council, as two volunteers were recognized as volunteers for the quarter. Had a celebration, had a gift that they gave them. As I was talking to Cathy a little before the program, that couple they've tread a lot of miles. Let me tell you, they've worked so hard in the Hispanic community for years, and just to see them recognized was such a joy to my heart. And also to hear a testimony of a young person who was very, very appreciative of a scholarship that they got. And that scholarship didn't come from the Latino Action Committee. It actually came from our community, our partners, those that partner with us for that activity. And we're just so thankful for our partners that brought that together. Also, I remember the last time I was here, I shared that we were going to be a part of a foster care Zoom meeting, and that was quite interesting. And it was about a culturally specific seeking foster parents for culturally specific homes and other ways to help out. We had Daniel Ziong, I think is his last name, from Oregon Youth Authority. He is a foster care trainer and a recruitment coordinator. He shared the need of culturally specific homes, and Daniel shared about the wonderful opportunities. And I just want to share this with my Spanish audience. Estuvimos en una reunión con Daniel John, que él es parte de la autoridad en la ciudad, housing de la Oregon Youth Authority, y él vino a compartir acerca de la necesidad que hay de tener padres de crianza. And it was very, very eye-opening in his recruitment. He tells us that there's just one Latino foster care home in all of the state of Oregon right now. Actually, there are applicants and people applying, but right now there's only one family, and 22% of the youth at OYA are working. 22% of people are working to try to get more people to take in foster children. And Dan, he gave us some action steps and how we can help and how we can take advantage of this opportunity to serve our community, how to become a foster home, how to provide respite care, how to serve as a OYA youth mentor. There are many ways that we can serve our community and serve our young people. Hay muchas maneras que podemos nosotros servir a nuestros jóvenes, especialmente en las casas de crianza, como un mentor, ser un padre de crianza. And so Daniel was such a gracious host. He gave us a lot of figures across the state of Oregon, and I don't want to give you all of that right now, but it was a very, very powerful presentation. He presented a video. He presented, we had Q&A with him, questions and answers regarding foster care and youth. And our question to him was, how can we get involved? If there's only one Latino foster care a family, how can we get the word out? How can we make that connection? It was a very, very interesting meeting, and Daniel was such a great presenter, and he gave his phone number, and I can probably maybe put that on the chat if we're interested in helping. Si usted está interesado en ser un padre de crianza, se puede comunicar conmigo, José Domínguez, o se puede comunicar con Daniel Zhang. Tenemos el número de él. Usted pudiera, por favor, llamar y comunicarse con él. Also, to change the subject a little bit, we at Light of the Valley Church, the church where I pastor, we're going to start giving free COVID testing for those people that their employer is requiring before they go to work, whether they are COVID free. Light of the Valley on Tuesday, we start this Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Our facility will be open. We'll have a worker there who will provide free COVID mouth swab testing. And all we need is, if you decide that that's something that you need, we just need your name, your number, your date of birth, your email, and your address. And as soon as you take that test, you can have your results in 2 to 3 days, whether by text or whether by email. So I'd like to share that in Spanish. Allí en La Luz del Valle nosotros vamos a tener una prueba de COVID. Si usted lo necesita, a veces los empleados están pidiendo que usted tome la prueba. La única cosa que estamos pidiendo allí en La Luz del Valle, 606 Dearborn Avenue Northeast en Kaiser, Oregon, 97303. Para más información, usted me puede llamar a mí, José Domínguez, 503-689-1652. Lo que necesitamos es su nombre, su número de teléfono, su fecha de nacimiento, su correo electrónico y su domicilio, para que cuando usted tome la prueba por boca, ¿verdad?, le dan los resultados en 2 o 3 días por texto o por correo electrónico. So we're getting ready for that, and we're trying to kind of gauge the need. Right now, we only started with 1 day, just so that we can see, whether people actually will come. But the worker called me and asked me, Pastor, do you think that we could help? And I says, well, anything that has to do with the community and anything that has to do to protect and secure our community, of course. He says, do you think we could do more? I says, let's just start with 1 day and see what the need is. And then if there's more need, then we can open that up. But we're excited to open up our facility to our community for that test. And so I think that's all I have. There are many other events that are coming up, but I think I can share those. I can share those next month. But thank you, Cathy, again, for allowing me to share.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And I just put into the Facebook Live comments about the free COVID testing, so people will know to go there this coming Tuesday between 10 and 2. Love is a wonderful thing. Love in action is so powerful. And what I am hearing and feeling from what you, your congregation, our community is doing, this is love in action. And sometimes love is a warm puppy, but sometimes it's a free COVID test. And it's love in action. Thank you for doing that and being so proactive.
And again, we care about our community. We want our people in our community. And Kaiser, I think, is one of the greatest places to live. I've been here for a long time, and we just want to give our little tidbit of help however we can. And so we just want to join with other people that are doing great work.
Thank you. And thank you so much. We look forward to some fantastic results for the people in our community. We're keeping people safe and healthy. Speaking of safe and healthy, Betty Hart from Kaiser Fire District. You guys have a lot going on, and just taking care of folks one call at a time. How are you doing today, Betty?
I'm just great. Thank you. I don't know if you noticed, but I have a new background here, and I've been moving. I'm currently living in my new location, but I still have things to clear out in my house. And so it's been a pretty interesting few weeks for me trying to get this all done. I've lived in my house for nearly 45 years, so you can well imagine how much I only admit to having been 12 when I moved there, but
Of course.
anyway, so I'm delighted to be here this morning. I want to congratulate the Latino Action Committee for their work. I think the scholarships they give to graduating seniors really says something to those kids, and it honors them and their families and the hard work that they've accomplished. And so very good, Pastor Dominguez. I'm just really delighted. And I'm delighted to have you doing the testing. I'm not likely to need one anytime soon, but if I do, I'll try to come on a Tuesday. Yes, and things, of course, at Kaiser Fire District have been going like gangbusters. And of course, because of the current large amount of COVID in our community, there are some things we're not going to be doing. For instance, the open house that we usually have on the first Monday of October has been canceled because we can't keep people safe. And we're not going to do pancakes in December, unfortunately. That's one of my favorite things to do. But there will be a drive-through candy cane day with Santa. And I think we're going to use the fire district area for sure. And whether or not we have one more location remains to be seen. We are transporting quite a few more COVID patients than we were, last year, perhaps as many as 5 to 10 per week. And there's, it's a little difficult. The staff, if somebody who calls them says they have COVID, the staff just behaves like they have COVID, whether or not it's been tested, because that they have to do that. And quite often their protocols for anyone who has COVID-like symptoms, of course, they mask up and all of that kind of stuff. And the board went back to virtual meetings, and the fire station is closed. Although you can go in and do business during the week through the front door, generally there are no meetings there, and that's kind of thing. We did send a crew to the Cougar Peak fire, which is by Lakeview, and we sent 4 firefighters and 1 radio specialist down there in one of our rigs. So they were gone for about 11 or 12 days. And fortunately, the weather helped kind of tamp the fire down. I don't think it put it out. But anyway, but on top of that, and, we sometimes have employees out who have been exposed to COVID, maybe through their family or other kinds of things. And so they have to quarantine. But we did 600 calls in July and in August, which is the largest number in a month that we have ever done in the past. So 2 months in a row with that many calls, that's about 19 or 20 calls a day, which is quite a few. We try to have 9 firefighter paramedics on duty, and we're running all 3 ambulances if we can staff them, because it's amazing how much demand there is. We want to thank everybody who participated in National Night Out, and the firefighters went out on the fire trucks and tried to visit some of those sites. And we think it's a great opportunity to get to know your neighbors if you don't already. And on 9/11, we had a very nice memorial honoring the people who were lost in that crazy event. And so, Madam Mayor, thank you so much for coming and helping with that. We do really appreciate that a lot. So we should ask everyone that September is an emergency preparedness month. So, check your supplies, your to-go kit, batteries, that sort of thing will be coming up. So that's an important thing for every household to be doing. And it's also Suicide Prevention Month. And I suspect this is a tough time for a lot of people, and I certainly can relate to that myself. And it's important, if you're feeling like the world is coming to an end, that you reach out and get some help. So there is a suicide hotline. I'll give the number and I'll put it in the chat. It's 1-800-273-8255. So, and we want to remind people, of course, with shorter days, that to be paying attention, especially at dusk when it's hard to see, and even if people have their lights on, it's difficult to see people, and to stay safe. So that's about the report I have for today. And the firefighters and paramedics, all of the staff at Kaiser Fire District, really enjoy serving the people of Kaiser, and we, it's okay if we go for 3 or 4 hours without a call, because then we'll be here, of course, when a call does come. So thanks, Madam Mayor, for including me.
Betty, would you please repeat that number? I'm going to type it in, then I'm going to copy it into the Facebook feed also. Would you repeat that?
Okay, sure.
Hotline?
1-800-273-8255.
800-273. What's the final four?
Yeah, 8255.
8255. Okay. I'm going to copy that in and put that into the Facebook feed as well.
Okay.
There is not a person that we know anywhere. All of us have been impacted through our lives with suicide. We know the devastation and the pain, and everything that we can do to support each other, ourselves, to save a life and to help people move forward, even when they're in the depths of despair, cannot be overstated.
Yeah.
And I think you bring that up.
Yeah, I think that right now it's got to be particularly difficult for many people, because it felt at the beginning of July like maybe we were going to be free, and I think we're going to move forward. But by the end of July, it was clear that was not going to be the case. And that, I'm sure, has hit a lot of people really hard and feels almost overwhelming. So yes, it's important to be sure to take care of yourself, first of all, and secondly, to check in on your family and friends to be sure they're doing okay. I saw something recently that said we should talk to ourselves the way we talk to our pets. Oh, you're such a pretty girl. Oh, you're such a good kitty. We do. Yeah. I love you so much. Because sometimes we give ourselves a really hard time about what's happening in our lives. And so we forget that we need to reinforce ourselves too.
We do. We do. Well, remember what they tell you on the aircraft. You put your oxygen mask on so you can help the person next to you. And we
Exactly.
have to make sure that our well is being filled so
Uh-huh.
we can share the living water with others.
Yeah.
Thank you for that word of encouragement. And let's keep people healthy, both heart and mind and body.
Yeah.
Thank you, Betty. This is a very important message. So speaking of keep people on the move and being able to get to where they need to for whatever they need to for work and play and school, welcome to Ramiro Navarro from the Chariots Board. So glad to have you join us today. How are you doing and what's new with Chariots? How's this Sunday service going?
Sunday service is going great. Thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing so far. I mean, the numbers are looking really good. And I think part of the reason is because we haven't had Sunday service before. So of course it's looking really good, but it's been awesome. It's so far it's looking really great. So we're gonna continue doing Sunday service. I believe this Sunday is the last month that it's going to be free. So if anybody is interested in taking the city bus for a spin, you can jump on at no charge this Sunday. And then in October is when we're going to start charging for that Sunday service. Um, let's see, what else was there?
I'm going to just jump in here though, because the cost to ride Chariots is a screaming deal. Just saying, it's a screaming deal.
Yeah, and we're looking to still see how we can overcome some of those barriers to support individuals in riding, because for some, chariots might not be the best option. Sometimes it's chairlift, and sometimes it's the shop and ride, and so sometimes it's these other forms of transportation that we provide, and we're trying to work with the organizations that we can to see how we can provide that affordable service. um, I know that one thing was we were talking about providing services to youth and supporting them and getting access to the resources that they need. I mean, especially considering, thank you, Betty, for bringing that up too, is that this is the Suicide Awareness Month. And so it's really important that we support individuals in having that access to transportation to get to and from their services. Because for some individuals, it's absolutely perfect to be able to have a hotline that they can call. For some, it's being able to have access to their case manager so they can get into housing. Sometimes it's being able to have access to their therapist, to their peer support person, to just different services in the community, because suicide prevention, at least the way that I look at it, is more of a holistic picture. We got to address all these different issues to be able to support that person in feeling their self-worth. And yeah, sorry, I'm thinking in the back of my head because that's exactly what we were doing last night. So my day job is I work in mental health for veterans, and we had a macrame event in McMinnville that was macrame and mindfulness, and so they shut down Third Street in McMinnville, and they let all the businesses take over, and they can set out tables outside, do the restaurants, do their activities, and so we took over our section of the street and we did the macrame. And this individual comes up and she asks, hey, what are you guys doing? And so I start showing her, oh, we're doing macrame. And so she gets in there and she starts tying the knots. And then she's like, so why are you guys doing this? And then I explained to her a little bit about our services. And she's like, well, how does this help with mental health? I'm like, well, while you're tying, are you thinking about the stress in the future? Are you thinking about things that happened in the past? Are you thinking about tying the knot? And she's like, well, I'm thinking about tying the knot. I go, exactly. I go, that's the point, is you're in the moment. And so that's one of the techniques that we were practicing yesterday, to focus on the here and now, and not be worried about the stress that we often get anxiety about. And so thank you for bringing that up. And also thank you, Pastor Dominguez, for bringing up, the point about having more diverse foster parents in the system. When I was younger, I was in OIA, and we were bounced around from different location to different location, and that wasn't the case. And it's sad that that's still kind of the case today, is that they don't have more diverse foster parent homes. And I mean, and not to say that they're not great. You know, we had one foster home that I was at that took us to the Volcanoes games uh, every month, and so that was one reason that why I really appreciate the Volcanoes here, because it's such a great outlet for some of these kids that are in the foster care system
Ramiro,
out and be part of the community.
Ramiro, if I could just share something. Um, my wife and I, we were foster parents for 5 years, and we took in we took in children into our home. We took in a 5-year-old who is, I'm now his uncle. He, our family has added a new addition to our family. He's in a different state, but we've developed a beautiful relationship with his mom and his dad, and we're still in contact. There's some other kids that we've foster parented, and it's quite an experience, but nonetheless, it is very valuable to plant in those children or youth's heart that they're valuable and that they've been made in the image of God. And it was for us, it wasn't always easy, but we knew that we were investing in those young people's hearts. Just want to share that.
Yeah, thank you. And that's absolutely the truth is that you really do make a difference. And whether, it's for the bad or the good, you do make a difference. And so hopefully what we would like is for these families to be a little bit more diverse, so that they can relate and really empathize with the children. And that's where you make that good impact. And so that's what I think that OIA is trying to do. And so that's really awesome. And but yeah, so that going back to chariots and transportation, transportation plays a really good big part in all of that. I mean, when I was with OIA, I was using transportation to get back and forth to school. I think at that point I was working at McDonald's in Kaiser, so I was using chariots to get back and forth, and we wanted to keep it a key role in keeping our community connected, and also acknowledging the impact that we have on the environment. And so we talked a little bit this last actually on Thursday about the environmental impact, that statement that Salem made, and how they're trying to reduce their carbon emissions by 50% in 2035, and then by down to 0% in 2050. And so it's a really, I mean, some might think it's a pretty bold statement, but the biggest contributor to that is transportation. And so as long as we can figure out how to, I mean, transportation alone is about 50% of our carbon emissions. So if we can do something to mitigate that and support individuals in getting more environmentally friendly means of getting to and from, then it's not that out of reach. So yeah, so that's what we're working on. And we already got our all electric fleet running. We just got some new compressors for our compressed natural gas vehicles. And we're going to keep working with the community and get more of those electric vehicles on the road. And then and also make the routes a little bit more accessible. One thing that we just talked about, or at least I had a conversation about with I want to say Matt at the city, was about getting a route to go out to the Kaiser Rapids. And so we talked about how there's actually, I was under the impression there was only 2 roads that go out there, and apparently there's 3. And so there's a third road that's a little underdeveloped, and or at least not developed to the point that it would accommodate a bus quite yet. And so that was the conversation there. So we're going to have Chariots reach out to the city and see about supporting them and upgrading that, so we can start getting some buses out there and helping people ditch the cars and hop on the bus.
That would be a fabulous ad. So I know what you're talking about. When you go down to Kaiser Rapids Park, we do have the road. Once you go down Shamawa, we have the road to the west of the dog park, and then we have the road going down to the east of the dog park, near to the big toy, to those parking areas. And it does pull through. So if we have that conversation about what does this look like and what the prices are going to be, then we can look at what our opportunities are. We also will have to get into the master plan. So your timing is perfect
Mhm.
because we are finishing up the master plan for the parks. And in order to do bigger projects like that, any capital improvement, we've got to get it into the master plan. So rather than have to amend it, we're just we have the opportunity to put it in now. And plus, when it's in a master plan, you can write grants to things.
Yes.
I like grants.
Yeah, we also talked about getting that that ADA kayak dock in the master plan so that we can do that and work with the Oregon State Marine Board and see about that, because that's something they really want to support us with, and I think it's beautiful to be able to support individuals and everybody and having access to our beautiful Willamette that we have right here.
Well, the Marine Board was a fabulous partner in the creation of that park. When we had it was a task force that former Councilor Richard Walsh put together, and he was the driving force of that park happening. That's the reason it's Walsh Way. He was determined that that beautiful land, he had the vision for what that land could be, brought all the partners together from Marion County, the Marine Board, the state, federal, everybody who had a piece of it could be involved was at the table, and he convened everybody so that park would happen. So now that it's evolved and more of the pieces have been built, with the new master plan, we can now say, okay, what's next, and continue to evolve it. So I love this this partnership for ADA accessibility for water recreation. Of course, we can make it happen here with Kaiser, and we get to yes for everybody. So fabulous. I'm looking forward to that going in. And I know there's a lot of people who are looking forward to being able to access it. Those of us who are getting a little older and jumping into that kayak, maybe a little extra assistance would be very helpful. My knees kind of tell me about it. You think you're young, but you've got a few miles on us. So thank you. I think that's a wonderful ad. Looking forward to evolving that part. Bob Shackelford from the Chamber wasn't able to join us today, but I do want to give a quick update from the Chamber of Commerce, because I was able to be at the Kaiser Network of Women event on Thursday evening, the Percy Presents, which is the big fundraiser for the Kaiser Network of Women Giving Basket program. This is in conjunction with the Kaiser school, the schools in Kaiser, working with our teachers and the making sure that the families of our students their needs are met during the holidays for gifts, food, and other essentials that that family needs. It's a wonderful partnership between the Chamber, community members and donors, many volunteers to assemble, shop, donate, and then deliver these wonderful gift packages and food to families in our community. And we've also were able to partner, if I remember correctly, last year, Pastor Dominguez, with some additional to help you out with the program through La Luz de Valle.
Yes, Mayor, just to comment on that. We had so much generous giving that I work as a volunteer with the prisons, and I called some of our parole officers to see how, with the extra that we had, we wanted to give so that they could give to incarcerated families. And I believe that, I think there were like 65 to 70 families that were served. Their parents that were in jail who wanted to bless their children with something were unable to, but through the generous giving, the parole officers came to the fellowship, came to the church. You should have seen their cars were packed with gifts, and they were so excited because they heard about that, and their budget was very, very low to purchase gifts for kids. But this all came about through a ex-inmate who called me and asked me if I had considered calling parole officers to help families in the community, and that was such a blessing. Thank you for that.
Oh, I love the partnership, and that's how this happens. Is as we talk about what we're doing and how we're helping, that the partnerships grow. One of the things that we've learned through the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance is that that last word, alliance, is key. Once we all began working together, sharing our resources, sharing our expertise, letting each organization be who they are and excel at what they do, that's when everything began to come together, and we began to find opportunity to effectively serve and meet the needs of people right where they're at. Thank you, Pastor Dominguez, for sharing that wonderful story of collaboration and serving families in our communities. And I'll tell you, we've heard stories from grown children now of people who have come through our Marion County Reentry Initiative, which was something that I modeled in my mind the Homeless Alliance on. And the families of the people who were moving through the criminal justice system and then reentering our community felt the support. They got the practical help they needed, but the families have as well. And the children in these families are now able to tell their story of how that meant so much to them and has helped them move forward in a very positive way in their lives. So it's definitely a multiplier. Very, very thankful for that.
Madam Mayor, when you were talking earlier about the grant that the Homeless Alliance got and looking for ways, I forgot to mention that last Sunday I went down to Riverfront Park to look at the tiny houses that Church at the Park is trying to raise money for. And I was delighted to see Hazel Patton. I thought, boy, what a great thing for them to do to recruit her to help, because she certainly has raised a lot of money for special projects in our community over the years. And it, so they're actually looking for, I didn't ask her about collaborative gifts, but for gifts of $5,000, because that's how much it takes to purchase one of those units. And there is a small village of them at the end of Pine Street on Portland Road. And my first thought was, oh, they can form a community there. And she said, well, we've already moved 10 people out of there. So the idea, of course, is to get them into a safe place and get some support so that they can find their way to move into their own housing and get a job, whatever they need. I mean, it's a really big challenge, and unless you've walked in their shoes, it's hard to imagine how traumatic being homeless can be. And I mean, I just can't. I'm afraid of the dark, let alone where would I sleep to feel safe at night, and not to mention when there's bad weather and that sort of thing. So it is, and a lot of people who are experiencing homelessness have not had a trustworthy relationship with anybody, especially somebody who's trying to help them. So I think this is great. Church at the Park is providing the services. They want to have some in all throughout Salem, and so that they are just in one place, which I think is a great idea too. And a lot of people want to avoid, people are experiencing homelessness, but at one time, chances are they were people like you and me, and something bad happened, a big trauma, whether mental health illness, losing a job, family upset, having some other traumatic thing occur, and then their whole life falls apart. So people can contact Church of the Park and find out ways to help too, because and there are lots of other agencies who are providing services, but that's particularly a good one. Thank you.
Well, and thank you for sharing that. And that's a great segue into what I want to leave people with. Church at the Park is one of our fabulous Alliance members. They're part of the collaborative committee. Everybody's communicating, working together, helping co-resource. And then Salem has dedicated staff now for the Salem Housing Authority, and then their community development, and they have a person dedicated to housing and homeless services, again, working in collaboration with the Alliance. So because we're all pulling in the same direction, working together, collaborating on programs, projects, and services, we're able to help make sure that when a person who is trying to even begins to think about, well, maybe I can leave homelessness, that we don't leave them high and dry again. It has to be built on trust, has to be built on being sustainable. We got to be there today, tomorrow, and the next day, not just, here's a blanket, good luck. That doesn't work. It's the long-term, sustained, trust-building relationships that are helping people begin the process of their new journey of healing. And I'd like to also give a huge shout out to United Way. Safe Sleep is a huge program with Women United, and United Way is also partnering in these in the villages. They have now signed, purchased a piece of property also to create a village that will have the tiny homes. And you're right, Betty, this is not designed to be permanent, but it gives people a place to land, to be, and then begin to engage in the next phase. Because when you're not fighting for existence, you begin to be able to deal with some of the other things in your life. And that's what this is going to be about. So I could talk about this for hours. Please go to the Nibwalem Valley Homeless Alliance website to learn more. And because Kaiser is a community that cares with action, I want to bring everybody's attention to the training that will be happening next Saturday, October 2nd, for shelter volunteers. They need people who want to work in our warming shelters, our inclement, weather shelters. It's more than just cold weather anymore, rain, wind, whatever. When they're open, they need people who are trained to be able to be prepared for effectively building relationship with the clients who come there who are seeking shelter. We want to be part of the solution and have people know how to respond in a way that's effective and appropriate and positive. So they need people to sign up for the training. October 2nd, it is free. And then we need more people to be ready for when the shelters need to open, that they are open, as we bring people inside. And again, warm, safe, and maybe start that trust building where they can say yes to the next step of leaving homelessness. Just a couple of little things. Reminded everybody, clean your gutters and your storm drains because rain is coming back. Woohoo! And then Windsor Island Road will be closing soon for about 10 days of road work. So if you use that area to move to and fro, please find another route. If you don't need to get into the neighborhood, just avoid that during construction. That's just a regularly scheduled project that just needs to be done. Other than that, take good care of yourselves, take good care of your families and neighbors. And does anybody else have something else they want to share before we close out today? Well, I'd like to thank our regular contributors to Coffee with Cathy, Pastor Jose Dominguez of La Luz de Valle Church, Betty Hart from the Kaiser Fire District, Ramiro Navarro from the Chariots Board, and we hope next time to see Bob Shackelford from the Kaiser Chamber of Commerce. We want to thank you, Kaiser, for being the awesome, giving, caring community you are. Take care of yourselves and have a great day. Thanks so much.